I'm just a fried rice vendor making $3,000 a month. Yet a wealthy heiress actually hired me for $2 million a month to play her older brother. Everyone thought I was just some poor loser who, blinded by greed, would try every trick to pocket a fortune and bolt. But when her family company was on the brink of bankruptcy and all her relatives were plotting to carve up the assets, I was the one who stood up and used a single live stream to turn the tables for her. The $50 million completely stunned everyone, all because she had told me at the very beginning, in front of outsiders, we are biological siblings. Since I take the money, I've always been extremely professional about my job. On day one of our agreement, when Soo-won calmly placed a bank card right in front of me, my first reaction was to put away my cigarette pack, pull out my phone, enter the card number, the password, and tap a few times to check the balance. Everything checked out perfectly. After that, I tried to act a bit casual, but the corners of my mouth just wouldn't let me. Soo-won frowned. For $2 million a month, play the part well when we're outside. Don't embarrass me. After hesitating for exactly 0.01 seconds, I dropped to my knees. Right away, boss, I'll even. Shine your shoes for you, just you wait and see. She frowned. Stop talking nonsense. Even though we don't need to be real siblings, in front of outsiders, you still have to call me sister convincingly. Yes, sis. Whatever you say goes. I quickly stood up, my knees hurting a bit. This marble floor was pretty hard, but the grin on my face never faded. $24 million a year. Don't just tell me to act out a deep sibling bond. Even if you told me to bark like a dog right here, I'd bark louder than anyone else. Before this, I ran a small fried rice stall in the slums, grinding from dawn till dusk just to make $10 million a month. This salary of $2 million a month, to me, was no different from a gold bar falling straight from the sky, hitting me right on the head. As for how all of this happened, we have to go back to 3 days ago. That day I was watching over my fried rice stall at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which was the deadest time of day. I was sitting by the curb, munching on a 1.5 RMB mantu, paired with some free pickled greens, calculating next month's rent. The slums were about to be redeveloped, and my fried rice stall was about to be demolished. This meant I had to find a new spot again, and start saving up cash from scratch. God knows when I'd ever have enough for a down payment to buy a tiny apartment in this city. Right at that moment, a Maybach pulled up in front of my stall. I jumped out of my skin, hurriedly hiding my small cart into the alley. Instead, the car door opened, and a woman stepped down. Dressed in Chanel and wearing high heels, her skin was blindingly fair and she looked gorgeous. I was completely dazed at the time. Which superstar is this, coming to the slums to experience life? She walked up to my stall, took a look, glanced at my fried rice stall for a bit, then looked at me and asked, "Are you Chen Mo?" I nodded, a bit dazed. "That's me. Do you want some fried rice?" "My fried rice with extra egg and sausage is 10,000 a portion. It's super good." She shook her head and handed me a business card. "My name is Soo-won, the head of the Soo Group. I'm looking for you to discuss a matter." I took the business card. Holy crap. The Soo Group. That's the leading enterprise in our city. I'd only ever seen them on the news. I was even more dazed now. I'm just a fried rice vendor. What could I possibly have to do with the Soo Group? Could it be that when I was setting up my stall earlier, I accidentally scratched their car? No way. Even if my cart scraped it, I couldn't afford the damages anyway. Then she told me that her grandfather was critically ill. Nối tiếp lớn nhất was the firstborn son her mother had given birth to back then, which was her older brother. Because the family was poor back then, they gave him away. And his biggest regret? Right now, grandfather can barely hold on anymore. He wants to see his grandson's face. If he doesn't get to see him, he will force me to marry the son of the Zhang family for a business alliance to stabilize the Soo family's business. I don't want to marry him, which is why I came to you. Because you look a bit like my dad when he was young. Since you look like him, I want you to pretend to be my brother to fool grandfather. I'll pay you $2 million every month. Once grandfather passes away, I'll give you a final lump sum and let you go. My first reaction after hearing all this was scams. Are scams this high-end nowadays? Driving a Maybach and wearing designer clothes just to scam a fried rice vendor like me? I only have 3,000 RMB total in my pocket. What is there to scam me out of? Then she directly pulled out that bank card and slammed it onto the table in front of my stall. Here is $2 million for the first month. The password is your birthday. You can go check it right now. I was completely stunned at that moment. Then I pulled out my phone to check. Holy crap, there really was $2 million. I almost dropped to my knees right then and there. This was an amount of money I couldn't earn even after 15 years of selling fried rice. Su Wan calmly leaned back on the sofa, her fingertips tapping on the tabletop as she laid down the ugly truth first. Cousin, to the outside world, I Su Mingjae am an arrogant person. You are my biological brother who went missing for over 20 years. Back then, our family was poor when Mom gave birth to you, so she gave you away to someone else, and we could never find you after that. At home, you are just a temporary actor. Remember your status clearly. Don't even think about getting any benefits from the Su family, much less plot against my family's assets. You must remember clearly that we only have a transactional relationship. Oh, I get it. I hurriedly nodded. Don't you worry. I will absolutely not mess around with your family's stuff, and I won't make any ridiculous demands either. I'm just here to do a job, taking the money and working with absolute professionalism. Sibling bond. That's only for the outside world. From now on, you're my boss. I'm relying on you to eat well and dress well. Right at this moment, a young man quietly walked down from the second floor of the villa. This was my cousin Su Mingjae. Su Mingjae glanced at me, with undisguised contempt written all over his face. Is this your long-lost brother? What on earth is he wearing? What a country bumpkin. I looked down at myself, a total bargain bin outfit. It was indeed pretty trashy, but it wasn't like I was exposing anything. According to the usual tropes in web novels and short dramas, at this point I should bravely fire back, delivering a witty counterattack. After a battle of wits and words, I would protect my self-esteem and successfully earn the high regard of the Su family. But am I that kind of person? The bank card in my pocket hasn't even gotten warm yet. I flashed a flattering smile filled with absolute sincerity. The exact kind I used to use at the town square, to trick elderly aunties into buying health supplements. Young Master Su, you truly have sharp eyes. Young Master Su is excellent at judging people. I grew up in the countryside since I was a kid, herding pigs one day and chasing chickens the next. Aren't I just a country bumpkin? This is my first time here. I hope young Master Su will take good care of me. My behavior was properly humble. This shameless flattery of mine made Su Mingjae freeze right on the spot. His mouth hung open for a long time, unable to utter a single word. Just as I was about to strike while the iron was hot and continue expressing my loyalty, Su Wan spoke up. All right, as long as everything is clear. Let's eat. Wealthy families hit different. The lunch was incredibly lavish. A table full of food, and I couldn't even name a single dish. There was Australian lobster, abalone, and sea cucumber. Things I had only ever seen on TV before. I held my bowl and stuffed my face, as if I hadn't eaten in 800 years. No wonder, though. Back in the slums, I wouldn't even get to eat such good things once a month. Now that I have the chance, of course I have to eat my fill. While I was munching on the lobster, a middle-aged man walked into the dining room. This man was Su Wan's uncle Su Zhenbang. He took off his coat and sat down. Seeing my table manners, he frowned. Ông ta cởi áo khoác rồi ngồi xuống. Thầy tướng ăn của tôi thì nhíu mày. He took off his coat and sat down. Seeing me, he frowned. Is this the kid brought back from the countryside? How ill-mannered. I didn't even bother to care. Anyone who has ever been a corporate slave knows that a portion of your salary is basically emotional damage compensation. I just had to swallow this anger. Su Zhenbang sat down and poured himself a few drinks. Seeing me still stuffing my face, he glared again. Hey, look at you, does this look proper at all? Since you're back, you must follow the Su family's rules. Don't go outside and embarrass the Su family. I quietly munched on my lobster, silently rolling my eyes in contempt, continuing to ignore him. Anyway, I'll eat my food, and he can talk all he wants. It's not costing me anything. Seeing that I didn't say a word, Su Zhenbang thought I was scared, so he got even more hyped up. He swirled his wine glass. Then again, it's just the fate of this wild brat, lost since childhood, and now coming back right in time to handle that matter. The Zhang family is really unlucky too, insisting on forcing our Su Wan to marry into their family. If it weren't for grandfather being critically ill, who would even care about the Zhang family? That kid is just a spoiled playboy, who knows nothing except hitting on girls. Truly a country dog matching with trash, a perfect match made in heaven. Su Zhenbang said these sarcastic words while looking at me. As for me, while chewing on the abalone, I quickly thought to myself, what does this old guy mean? Where did he get such huge hostility toward me? What does this old guy mean? Where did he get such huge hostility toward me? Su Wan lecturing me was to establish rules, preventing me from having any inappropriate ideas. My cousin hated me because he worried I'd affect his status as the young master Xia of the Su family. Perfectly logical. But Su Zhenbang, this uncle, shouldn't really have any close ties to me. Do we even know each other? This old guy got more and more fired up. Speaking of Su Zhenbang, he was actually grandfather's second son, Grandfather had two sons. The eldest son, Su Wan's father, passed away early, and the second son is Su Zhenbang. Over the years, Su Zhenbang had always been eyeing the Su family assets, thinking that if Su Wan married out, everything in the Su family would belong to him. This old guy wanted to find his elders' self-esteem and a sense of pleasure through me, and by the way, give me a hard time, just to disgust Su Wan. Now here comes the crucial point. In my 2 million RMB monthly salary, putting up with my cousin's bad temper is included, and so is Su Wan's. But does it include putting up with this uncle's shitty attitude? I looked toward Su Wan. At this moment, she was completely expressionless, her gaze cold. Got it. I stood up, flashed a brilliant smile at Su Zhenbang, then grabbed a tall glass and slammed it directly onto the food plate in front of him, splashing wine all over Su Zhenbang. He froze completely, pointing at me and roaring, "Are you out of your mind? Are you rebelling? Are you crazy? Rebelling?" I immediately put on a look of regret, my voice even louder than Su Zhenbang's. "Uncle, you're way too drunk. You're talking utter nonsense. Who is the Zhang family? Even an outsider who just came back like me knows clearly that the Zhang family and our Su family have been close partners for years. Yet here you are insulting and making up rumors about the Zhang family. If this leaks out and ruins the relationship between our two families, what then? What if the Zhang family even withdraws their capital? Uncle, you are digging up the very roots of the Su family." Slapped with such a massive accusation, Su Zhenbang was a bit short of breath. You're talking nonsense. I just said a few words at home, so what? I put on a serious face, so what? Walls have ears. You are my uncle, but you are also an elder of the Su family. To put it bluntly, I am just a poor kid whom the Su family brought back from the countryside, and you are merely relying on grandfather's influence, who have scrambled your way up to your position. Today we are both eating the Su family's food, but you can't just eat their food, yet still want to smash the Su family's rice bowl. Hey, who gave you the nerve? These few words of mine completely struck Su Zhenbang's weakness. He was so furious that his whole body trembled, unable to form a proper sentence. Su Wan's voice rang out right on time. "Enough! It looks like everyone is full. Let's dismiss then, Chen Mo. Come with me for a moment." After the meal in the study, Su Wan said to me, "You are very smart." I stood there obediently, hands clasped together. "Thank you for the compliment, boss. Do you know why I brought you back here? It's definitely not because of family bonds or deep affection, right?" Su Wan smiled a mocking smile. "My grandfather is critically ill. The doctor said he doesn't have much longer. His biggest regret in this life is losing my older brother back then. He always says if he doesn't get to see my older brother, he won't be able to rest in peace. That's why I brought you here to pretend to be my brother, so grandfather can pass away in peace. After grandfather passes away, you can take the money and leave. We'll be square." I knew there was no free lunch in this world, so this was the catch. In reality, it was because grandfather was critically ill. If he didn't see his grandson, he would force Su Wan to marry the son of the Zhang family. That way, the Zhang family would continue to cooperate with the Su family to stabilize the Su family's business. But Su Wan didn't want to marry him, so she brought me in to play her brother and fool grandfather. That way, grandfather wouldn't force her into a political marriage anymore, pretending to be a wealthy relative as a temp actor to trick an old man. This is a massive scheme. You have to know that tricking grandfather. What if he gets too angry and something happens to him? Won't I have to take the blame? Moreover, if this thing gets exposed, won't I be beaten to death by the Su family? The risk is way too high. I said firmly and decisively, "I need a raise." Su Wan visibly paused for a moment, then smiled again. This time the smile was much more normal. "As expected, you only have money in your eyes." I shrugged. "So what? With a risk this huge, if you don't add money, I'm not doing it, obviously. With a risk this huge, if you don't add money, I'm not doing it." Su Wan took out a new card and pushed it toward me. "Deal. There is 30 million RMB in here, consider it your deposit. From now on, an extra 1 million RMB each month as your emotional damage compensation. As long as you can keep grandfather reassured. I've decided that when this is over, I'll give you another 10 million RMB as a final bonus." I accepted the card with both hands and stuffed it into my pants pocket, patting it repeatedly, terrified of losing it. "All right, sis. Don't you worry no matter what condition grandfather is in. I will absolutely put on a flawless performance. Even if a Best Actor winner shows up, they won't be able to tell I'm a fake. Tomorrow, grandfather will return home from the hospital. Go prepare yourself well." "All right, the old master of the Su family. Su Hai, my dear grandfather. When I met him, it was in the Su family villa the previous night. Su Wan and I had rehearsed our script all night, terrified of slipping up. She told me about grandfather's preferences. Grandfather liked listening to opera, liked eating home-cooked meals, and disliked flashy, empty things. I also specifically looked up a lot of country stuff, making up a whole bunch of childhood experiences, just in case grandfather asked and I couldn't answer. Grandfather sat in a wheelchair, his face pale but his eyes very sharp. Surrounding him was a crowd of family members, Su Zhenbang, Su Mingjae, and a whole bunch of relatives all staring intently at me, waiting to see me humiliate myself. I could tell they were all waiting to watch a comedy, waiting for me to show my true colors so they could kick me out. I could tell they were all waiting to watch a comedy, waiting for me to show my true colors so they could kick me out. As soon as I walked through the door, grandfather reached out his hands and said refreshingly, my grandson is finally back. At that moment, I burst into tears, letting out a loud wail as I rushed forward to hug grandfather's legs and cry, Grandfather, oh, grandfather, I finally found you. Over the years in this countryside, I missed you every single day. I knew you would definitely look for me. I cried so hard it was heartbreaking tears, and snot all over my face, acting even closer than a real grandson. To squeeze out those tears, I secretly pinched my thigh, pinching so hard that even I found it painful. The tears just streamed down. You have to know that back when I set up my stall at the night market to evade the city management, I used to pretend to be a beggar, pretend to be disabled. This little bit of acting skill was a piece of cake for me. The crowd of relatives around us were completely dazed. Su Zhenbang's face turned completely pale, and Su Mingjae was dumbfounded too. Su Wan, standing to the side, secretly gave me a thumbs up. Grandfather was also moved to tears by my crying and patted my back. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. My good grandson, you've suffered. While crying, I secretly glanced at Su Wan. She nodded at me, and I knew right away it was a success. After crying for a long time, grandfather finally let me go, holding my hand and asking about my life over the years. I had been prepared for a long time, so I rattled off the whole story I had made up. I had been prepared for a long time, so I rattled off the whole story I had made up. Grandfather, my foster parents didn't treat me well. They made me work since I was a kid. In my teens, I had to go out and do manual labor. I've carried bricks and hauled cement. After that, I opened a small fried rice stall in the slums, barely scraping by. Every day, I always wanted to find my family. But the things from my childhood were all lost, so I could never find any clues. Until Sister Su Wan found me. Only then did I know I actually still had family. After listening, grandfather kept wiping his tears. My grandson has truly suffered. My grandson has truly suffered. At this moment, Su Zhenbang spoke up from the side. Dad, don't be fooled. This brat is clearly here to scam money. How could there be such a coincidence? We searched for so many years and found nothing. How did he suddenly pop up? I immediately turned my head, looking completely wronged, as tears welled up again. How can you say that, uncle, even if I lie? I'm poor, I would never lie to my own grandfather. I only came to visit grandfather. I don't even want the Su family's money. After saying that, I whipped out that 5 million RMB card and slammed it on the table. I'm not taking this money anymore. I only came to visit grandfather. Now that I've seen him, I'll leave right away so no one says I'm scamming money. As soon as grandfather saw this, he instantly flew into a rage, slamming his wheelchair and shouting at Su Zhenbang, "Shut your mouth! Could I ever mistake my own grandson? Are you just jealous? Could I ever mistake my own grandson? Are you just jealous? Are you afraid he'll take a share of your inheritance? Let me tell you, he is the eldest grandson of the Su family. Half of the family estate belongs to him. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I will kick you out of the Su family." Su Zhenbang's face turned pale and he didn't dare to say a single word, lowering his head in silence. In my heart, I was secretly rejoicing. For this level of acting, the Oscars owe me a little golden statue. After grandfather returned home, I stayed at the Su family villa. Every day I stayed by grandfather's side, pouring tea and water for him, chatting with him, and listening to opera with him. Grandfather grew to love me more and more, boasting to everyone every single day that his eldest grandson was back, and that the Su family finally had an heir. Furthermore, I knew how to cook. Grandfather particularly loved the home-cooked dishes I made. He was used to eating delicacies, so he really enjoyed the scrambled eggs with tomatoes, the braised pork belly, and the egg-fried rice that were my specialties. Before this, the Su family chefs always made fancy, complex dishes, which grandfather was tired of eating. Now every day he waited for me to make home-cooked food for him. He ate twice as much as before, and his health actually started improving. Seeing this, the servants in the house also liked me a lot, because I never put on airs. Unlike Su Mingje, who always yelled at them, I could get along well with all of them, and sometimes I even helped them with their chores. There was one time when Su Mingje wanted to fire a servant just because they accidentally tore his clothes, and he even wanted to dock their pay. When I found out about it, I stepped in to speak up for that servant. In the end, Su Mingje didn't fire him anymore. That servant was incredibly grateful to me. Suwan also breathed a sigh of relief, thinking this matter was finally settled. As it turned out, a few days later, the Zhang family showed up. The young master of the Zhang family, Zhang Hao, the very guy who previously wanted a political marriage with Suwan, led a crowd of people and aggressively barged into the Su villa. The moment he walked through the door, he pointed at Suwan. "Are you that fake version of Suwan? You're pretty bold. Hiring a street vendor to fool me and trick the old man, too." At that time, I was sunbathing in the yard with grandfather. Hearing these words, I immediately stood up to shield grandfather. I was afraid he would make grandfather angry. Grandfather's health wasn't good, and he shouldn't be agitated. "Who do you think you are? How dare you come to our house to cause trouble?" Zhang Hao looked me up and down, his face filled with contempt. "Who am I? I'm Zhang Hao, Suwan's fiancé. Does a country dog like you even deserve to stand in front of me? Let me tell you, if you know what's good for you, take the money and beat it. Otherwise, I'll break your legs." I knew exactly how to answer this one. Suwan had already told me beforehand that this Zhang Hao guy was just an absolute playboy, relying on his family's money to hit on girls everywhere. Before this, he couldn't win over Suwan, so he wanted to use a political marriage to force her into submission. Now that I had appeared, he assumed I was a fake and wanted to come here to expose me. Then forced Suwan to marry him. I took a step forward and glared at him. "Young Master Zhang, is it? Let me tell you, this is the Su family. This isn't a place for you to act wild. I am Suwan's biological brother, the eldest grandson of my grandfather. You barge into our house and call me a country dog. Are you looking down on our Su family, or are you looking down on my grandfather? My grandfather is critically ill. If you make him angry and something happens to him, can you take responsibility for that?" Zhang Hao froze for a moment, then sneered, "Biological brother. Who's going to believe that Suwan's brother died ages ago? You're just a random extra she found. Let me tell you, I've already investigated you thoroughly. You're just a fried rice vendor from the slums. You barely make any money a month. How much is Suwan paying you? I'll pay you double now, get lost." I let out a scoff. "Double? How much can you even give?" Zhang Hao whipped out a card. "There's 10 million RMB in here. Is that enough? Take the money and get the hell back to the countryside. 10 million RMB. Who do you think you're talking to? If you offered 1 billion RMB, maybe I would actually consider it a bit. But this tiny amount of money makes it really hard for me to choose." I shook my head. Young Master Zhang doing this is just killing the vibe. I came here to be with my grandfather, not to sell out my little sister. Do you think everyone is like you? With only money in their eyes. Zhang Hao's face flushed with anger. "Damn it, what are you still pretending for? Aren't you doing this for money too?" Zhang Hao's face flushed with anger. "Damn it, what are you still pretending for? Aren't you doing this for money too?" I put on an expression of pure righteousness. "Me doing it for money? I'm doing this for my grandfather. My grandfather is critically ill. I came back to stay by his side. This is my duty as a grandson. But what about you? You barge into our house, force my sister to marry you, and even try to bribe me with money. What are your intentions? Do you think everyone is like you, daring to do absolutely anything for money?" This scolding left Zhang Hao completely tongue-tied and speechless. The toxic friends behind his back, none of them dared to utter a word either, just staring at me in a bit of a daze. Grandfather, sitting to the side, angrily slammed his wheelchair. "Zhang Hao, get the hell out. Our Su family doesn't welcome you." Zhang Hao was about to say something else, but one of the guys behind him leaned in closely and whispered something to him. After that, Zhang Hao's expression instantly changed. Right after, the Su family bodyguards stepped up, directly throwing them all out. After they left, Grandfather held my hand, his face filled with comfort. "Good boy. Good boy with you here. Grandfather can rest assured now." I grinned widely. "Grandfather, this is all just my duty." Suwan, standing next to me, secretly sent me a WeChat message. "Not bad, your acting skills are pretty decent." I replied to her, "As long as there's extra money, anything works." Suwan sent over 6 million RMB. Boss is so generous. Not long after that, Suwan took me along to attend a gala. It was a business networking gala. She planned to negotiate a new energy project. She had been preparing for this project for over half a year. If she could secure it, the Su Group could take things to the next level. If she could secure it, the Su Group could take things to the next level. Before going, she hooked me up with a slick outfit, a designer suit, a luxury watch, and leather shoes. It cost quite a fortune. When I received these things, my first reaction was, how much money can this pile sell for? And this suit clearly doesn't look cheap. I pulled out my phone to look it up. This outfit costs over 100,000 RMB. And that watch over there, oh my God, it's worth several 100,000 RMB. Those shoes cost tens of thousands of RMB too. I silently calculated that once this gig was over, I would sell this whole stash and make another bundle. Su Wan seemed to see right through my thoughts and gave me a pinch. Kid, don't go getting any ideas about these items. I only borrowed these things for you to wear. You have to return them when you're done. My face filled with embarrassment. No way, sis, I'm just taking a look. Just taking a look. Su Wan rolled her eyes at me. You really have nothing but money in your eyes. I shrugged. What else? Without money, do I just breathe air to survive? Arriving at the gala, the inside was packed with big shots. Every single one dressed to the nines, holding wine glasses and buttering each other up. After following Su Wan inside, I saw Su Zhenbang, Su Mingzhe, and even Zheng Hao gathering together, chatting about who knows what. I pulled Su Wan, wanting to stay a bit further away. Don't actively look for trouble. As it turned out, they had already spotted us. Su Zhenbang walked over, smiling toward a certain Director Li next to him. Rector Li, this is my niece Su Wan. Director Li, this is my niece Su Wan. And this is my eldest nephew, Chen Mo. That Director Li was precisely the person in charge of the project Su Wan wanted to negotiate with. Li Jiangguo was a big shot in the new energy industry, holding projects worth hundreds of millions of RMB in his hands. For this project, Su Wan had prepared for months on end, staying up every night to work on the proposal, just to secure this project. Su Zhenbang lowered his voice and said to Director Li, Director Li, don't be fooled by them. This eldest nephew of mine just came up from the countryside. He doesn't understand a thing. As for my niece, she's just a woman after all. Women have long hair but short sight. Handing that project to them wouldn't put anyone at ease. Why don't you give it to me instead? Let me handle it for my son. Mingzhe also graduated from a prestigious university. He can definitely do a good job. A look of hesitation appeared on Director Li's face. Looking at Su Wan, then looking over at Su Zhenbang. Su Wan's face instantly darkened, her fists clenching tightly. Just as she was about to speak, I grabbed her hand and pulled her back. I shrugged at her. Don't worry, there's no need for you to step up. Did you forget you're the boss? I'm the worker. After saying that, I strode over and shouted loudly at Su Zhenbang, Uncle, why are you here? This shout instantly drew the attention of everyone around. The surrounding crowd all looked over toward this direction. Su Zhenbang's face instantly went black. Humph, what are you yelling for? Su Zhenbang's face instantly went black. Huh, what are you yelling for? How ill-mannered. I stood right between Director Li and Su Zhenbang, with a fake smile plastered on my face, continuing to talk to Su Zhenbang. Usually you just drink tea and sing opera. Since when did you start meddling in company matters? Grandfather has said more than once that you shouldn't interfere with company affairs. Don't interfere. Don't interfere. You can't even calculate vertical bar, the wages of the servants at home properly. So what do you know about projects? What are you doing putting on airs here like an expert? Subdued laughter erupted from the surroundings. Everyone had heard about Su Zhenbang's reputation. Over the years, his title of vice president at the company was just for show. He hadn't done a single useful thing, only knowing how to wine and dine. Su Zhenbang was so furious his words became a jumbled mess, his face flushing bright red. Ha 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 ha, you bastard! What kind of nonsense are you talking? I handed a glass of wine to his uncle. Drink some wine to cool down. If something happens to you, it'll just trouble my grandfather to pay for your hospital bills. I turned around to look at Director Li, my face instantly shifting into a sincere expression. Director Li, sorry for letting you witness this joke. I don't mean to let you laugh at us, but the men in our Su family are all a bit incompetent. But as for my sister Su Wan, her capability is clear for everyone in the industry to see. Of all the projects she has handled before, which one wasn't a massive success? In her previous live stream sales event, she pulled in 300 million RMB in a single day. You've probably heard about it. Behind her is the Su family, and she also has the full backing of my grandfather. For this project, she has been preparing for over half a year. Behind her is the Su family, and she also has the full backing of my grandfather. For this project, she has been preparing for over half a year, staying up late every day to work on the proposal, just to make sure this project is executed flawlessly. You are an outstanding figure in the business world. The business world is like a battlefield. Ultimately, what it comes down to compete with is actual capital and real capability. Meanwhile, Su Zhenbong was shaking as he barked at me. Shut up. Shenmo, you bastard, are you trying to rebel? Director Lee was an old fox in the industry. Glancing across the people present, an amused smile appeared on his face. Then he walked straight toward Su Wan, who was standing not far away, extending his hand. Miss Su, this brother of yours is very interesting. Once we finalize the contract details in a few days, let's sign it. I casually walked back to Su Wan's side, completely ignoring the furious curses from Su Zhenbong, as well as the resentful glare from Su Mingjae. Su Wan looked me up and down, actively grabbing my hand. Let's go. Before the gala even ended, we just left directly. The wind by the river was a bit strong. The river breeze at night felt a bit chilly. Su Wan was wearing an off-the-shoulder evening gown, leaving her shoulders fully exposed. Just looking at her made me feel cold, so I took off my suit jacket and draped it over her. She stared at the flowing river water without turning her head. Why did you help me just now? I was a bit confused. What do you mean I get paid to do a job? You are my boss, so protecting your interests is my duty. What do you mean I get paid to do a job? You are my boss, so protecting your interests is my duty. If your business falls through, who am I supposed to rely on for a living later? Su Wan's voice was very soft, carrying a hint of vulnerability. From childhood to now, no one has ever protected me like that, especially in the business world. My dad passed away early when I was only 16. After he left, the company fell into chaos. Back then, grandfather's health was already failing. I managed the company all by myself. Grandfather was extremely strict with me. If I wasn't excellent, I would have just ended up as a political marriage tool. Over the years, I've lived like a man, carving out a bit of a reputation for myself in the business world. I don't care how outsiders judge me. It's just that I can't talk about it. From childhood to now, only people like Zhang Hao could hear my true thoughts. I didn't expect them to also. So it turned out Zhang Hao used to be her friend and her first love. She used to think Zhang Hao was sincere with her. But in the end, Zhang Hao was only after her family's money. He only stayed with her because he wanted a political marriage with the Su family. So this is what rich people problems look like. To put it plainly, they don't lack anything else. They just lack affection. I curled my lips and walked over to rub her head. Su Wan, are you out of your mind or something? He froze, lifting her head to look at me with her peach blossom eyes. There's no such thing as eternal affection or everlasting love in this world. Tangible benefits are the most practical thing. Whoever is good to me, I'll be good to them back. Whoever doesn't respect me, I'll tell them to screw off. You are the eldest young lady of the Su family. Whoever is good to me, I'll be good to them back. Whoever doesn't respect me, I'll tell them to screw off. You are the eldest young lady of the Su family, holding massive resources and wealth in your hands. And yet here you are acting all dramatic. I pointed at myself. Look at me, a street vendor from the slums. It took me so many years to finally find a job like this, making 2 million RMB a month. Damn, did I complain about anything? Because I know all too well that only when you have money yourself can you live like a proper human being. I patted Su Wan's shoulder. So stop whining here. What you have right now is your backing. There's a whole line of people waiting to love you. Look, aren't I right here? Su Wan stared at me intently. A long time later, she suddenly smiled, laughing so hard that tears came out. Chenmo, you really are a money grubber. I took it as a tacit admission. There's nothing to be ashamed of. After Su Wan stabilized her emotions, I went to get the car, preparing to head back. I sat in the driver's seat and pulled over to the curb. Su Wan pulled open this car door and slid straight inside. Inside the cramped front cabin, Su Wan's exquisite face was very close to mine, so close that we could smell each other's breath. The scent of her perfume wafted into my nose, carrying a pleasant fragrance. Su Wan's slender fingers cupped my face, saying I will always be rich. I guarantee, Chenmo, I want you to work for me forever. After saying that, her rosy lips gently pressed onto my forehead. Then she lifted her long, slender legs, stepping over the console straight into the passenger seat. Drive, driver. I froze, holding the steering wheel motionless. After thinking for a long time, I looked at Su Wan. Boss, we haven't reached that step yet. According to the standard workflow, it's not yet the phase where I have to sell my body. Therefore, for that kiss just now, you need to add money. Truly a money grubber. The days passed by just like that. I stayed by grandfather's side, and grandfather's health actually kept getting better and better. The doctor said he wouldn't last a month, yet 3 months had already passed by now. Grandfather was still very sharp, even able to walk with a cane by himself. The doctors all said this was a miracle, stating that because grandfather's mood had improved, his health naturally got better. Suwon also became more and more reliant on me, talking to me about absolutely everything. Company business, family matters, she would report all of them to me. One time, the cosmetics warehouse of her company had a massive backlog of inventory, with up to 200 million RMB worth of goods left over from previous production, because their previous direct sales channel ran into issues. After the pandemic, the business of traditional brick-and-mortar stores was getting worse by the day. These goods couldn't be sold, piling up in the warehouse and approaching their expiration dates. Suwon was so worried she couldn't sleep well for days, staring blankly at the inventory report all day long. She couldn't even swallow her food, and her whole body lost a noticeable amount of weight. Seeing her like that, I told her to do a live stream. Live stream sales are booming right now, I'll help you sell them. At first, she didn't believe me, shaking her head and saying, "We've already looked for top-tier influencers and tried everything. Their slot fees are too high. It's asking for several $100,000 for a single session. Yet the sales were awful. A session only brought in a few million. It fundamentally can't clear out the warehouse. How much could a fried rice vendor even sell?" I said, "Don't you worry. Set up an account for me, I'll do it myself. No slot fees required. If they sell, you just give me a commission. Not much, just 1%. She half believed and half doubted me, but seeing me so confident, she agreed, setting up an official company account for me. After that, I started live streaming. At first, there weren't many people in the stream, only a few dozen people, who were all Su family employees filling up the numbers. There were a few people who had previously followed the companies. Count old customers, but I was in no rush, just casually chatting with everyone like that. I said, "Hello, everyone. I'm Chen Mo. I am Suwon's older brother. Before this, I used to sell fried rice in the slums. Have any of you ever eaten the fried rice I made? It's the Chen family fried rice shop at the entrance of the alley." After that, a few local netizens suddenly jumped into the comments section. They wrote in the chat box, "I've eaten there, are you that brother Chen? Your fried rice is seriously delicious. Adding an egg and a sausage for 10 RMB, the portion was huge. I've eaten there too. I used to work nearby, and I ate your fried rice every single day. Brother Chen, why did you switch to selling cosmetics?" Then as soon as these regulars spoke up, it instantly drove the hype of the live stream room way up. The platform started recommending the stream, and the number of viewers grew larger and larger. In the blink of an eye, it climbed to several thousand people, then to tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands. I wasn't like those other streamers, doing all sorts of flashy and over-the-top tricks. I just casually chatted about daily life with everyone, just like when I was calling out to customers at my street stall. "Hey guys, today I'm helping my little sister sell cosmetics. They're all produced by our own company, so there's absolutely no problem with the quality. They used to sell like hotcakes at the physical counters. If you guys have ever been to a shopping mall, you've definitely seen our brand. Right now, because of the pandemic, there's a huge backlog of inventory, piling up in the warehouse and approaching expiration. So today I'm giving you guys a clearance price to empty the warehouse, letting it go at cost price for everyone. Consider it giving my little sister a helping hand." After that, I picked up that hydrating face mask. I waved it around for everyone to see. It's exactly this face mask. It used to sell for 199 RMB a box in the showroom. Today I'm giving it to you guys at 99 RMB for 2 boxes with free shipping. I'll be honest with you guys, I've actually used this mask myself. Back when I was running my street stall, I got completely tanned and dark from the summer sun. After using this for just a few days, my skin brightened right back up. It's seriously good, I'm not lying to you guys. Then I picked up that lipstick over there. Look everyone, we also have this lipstick right here. It used to sell for 159 RMB a piece in the showroom. Today it's 79 RMB for 2 pieces. Mix and match however you like, all shades are in stock. I've already let my sister test it out. She usually uses this shade. It really complements the skin tone and looks good on any lips. Even people with yellowish skin tones can rock it absolutely no fail. No disappointment. I spoke in a very down-to-earth manner, without any of the gimmicks used by other flashy streamers, just honestly sharing with everyone. These are all great products being sold to you guys for cheap today. If you miss out, it's gone. As it turned out right after the link dropped, the items were completely snatched up in a flash. At first, we only released 10,000 orders, but they were completely sold out in a single second. The entire comments section was flooded with people saying they didn't get to buy, asking to restock the items. After that, we added another 20,000 orders, and they were gone again. Then we added 50,000 more orders, yet they still sold out completely. In the end, we took out the entire backlog from the warehouse. A total of 200,000 orders were completely sold out in less than 10 minutes. That day, I live-streamed for 3 hours, selling a grand total of 50 million RMB worth of goods, completely clearing out the entire warehouse inventory. There were even some people who didn't manage to grab any, asking when my next live stream would be so they could buy. Suwan, standing to the side looking at the back-end data, stared with her eyes wide open, unable to snap out of it for a good while. She finally spoke up. You're way too OP at this. The top-tier influencers we hired only sold a few million in a single session. You sold a whopping 50 million in just one session. I grinned widely. This is nothing. Back when I ran my street stall, I was the best at hyping up products. Back then, whenever I started shouting my pitch, all the aunties around would run over to buy my fried rice. This little thing is just a piece of cake. The relationship between the two of us also grew closer and closer. I realized that I seemed to have caught feelings for her a little bit, but I didn't dare to say it. I was just a temporary actor. Once the old man passed away, I would take the money and leave. We just didn't belong to the same world. I was just a temporary actor. Once the old man passed away, I would take the money and leave. We just don't belong to the same world. I thought my days would just peacefully pass by like that. Once the old man passed away, I would take the money, open a small diner of my own, and live a stable life forever. As it turned out, unexpectedly, something went down with the Su family. Su Jinbong and Su Mingjae teamed up and took a massive amount of the Su family's cash to invest in some crypto project. In the end, the project team ran off with all the money. Right at that moment, a series of the Su family's projects reached their settlement deadlines. The Su family's capital chain snapped overnight. The entire Su family sat together in the villa's main hall. Su Jinbong looked completely haggard, his hair visibly graying while Su Mingjae kept his head down, trying his best to reduce his presence. Even Su Wan's state wasn't great, with dark circles under her eyes. Su Jinbong completely ignored me and looked at Su Wan with a fawning expression. Su Wan, this time I misjudged the people and took a heavy fall. Right now in your hands, don't you still have several hundred million in cash? Can you inject another 2 billion into the Su family's capital? Just help us out this once. In the future, I will definitely work properly and never make random investments again. Su Wan glanced over at me. For a major matter like this, I'll listen to my older brother. After all, he is my older brother. Nice. That was a smooth pass. That pass was executed beautifully. 3 pairs of eyes instantly locked onto me. Out of respect for my job, I had to catch this pass. We're not investing this money. Su Jinbong froze, looking at me with disbelief. What? What did you just say? I elegantly took a sip of tea and put down the cup. I said no cash injection. In this entire Su family, except for grandfather and Su Wan, you and Su Mingjae are just a bottomless pit. Su Wan's money is the joint property of us 2 siblings. Using our money to patch up your black hole. I don't agree. Su Jinbong angrily cursed, you ungrateful bastard. If it weren't for the Su family, you'd still be selling fried rice in the slums. You eat the Su family's food and live in the Su family's house. And now you dare to treat us like this. I coldly shot back, stop talking that nonsense. Why you tracked me down, you know best yourself. She pays the money, I do the work. Since I took the money, I will play my role well. We are even. Wanting to force Su Wan to shell out money. What kind of pipe dream are you having? Su Jinbong's group was just a bottomless pit that could never be filled. Su Jinbong completely lost his mind, suddenly leaping to his feet to rush over and hit me. You absolute bastard. If you don't give the money, I'll beat you to death. Su Wan was quick and sharp, waving her hand. A crowd of bodyguards quickly intervened to protect her and me. Where are the guards? See the guests out. Su Jinbong's group was kicked out. While leaving, they were still muttering curses, calling us heartless, and calling us ungrateful bastards. After they left, the matter was far from over. In less than a few days, a massive storm hit. The matter was far from over. In less than a few days, a massive storm hit. Cold-blooded fake brother of a wealthy family refuses to save the family enterprise, exposing the never-before-released past of the Su family's fake brother, eating the Su family's food while breaking their pots. Exposing Su Wan's fake brother. Turns out he's just a fried rice vendor from the slums. To avoid a political marriage, Suwon hired a fake brother to deceive her critically ill grandfather. How utterly ruthless. Similar articles flooded the internet everywhere. Public opinion exploded instantly. No need to mention it was clearly Su Zhenbang's group making a move, and they had even teamed up with Zhang Hao to stir up trouble. They threw all the dirty water onto me and Suwon. The entire internet was bashing me. In the top 5 trending spots on Weibo, 3 of them were about me, Su family's fake brother Chen Mo. The legend of the ungrateful bastard. Chen Mo exposed. And Suwon hires a fake brother. Deceiving her grandfather, the traffic was terrifyingly high. Clicking on it, the comment section was filled with people trashing me. This Chen Mo guy is seriously disgusting. Scamming a sick old man's money and he's an ungrateful prick. Why doesn't he just go die? Just a poor fried rice vendor, yet he wants to climb the social ladder. He should look in the mirror first. Does he even deserve to be with the Su family? Suwon is also way too ruthless. Just to avoid a political marriage, she even deceived her own biological grandfather. This kind of woman is too malicious. This kind of scammer should be thrown into prison. Defrauding people's money is truly unprincipled. There were even people digging up photos of me selling fried rice in the past, turning them into all kinds of memes, mocking me as a country bumpkin and a poor loser. Turning them into all kinds of memes, mocking me as a country bumpkin and a poor loser, saying I didn't deserve the Su family, saying I just wanted to hit the jackpot overnight. Some people even ran over to my old fried rice stall, just to film videos there, saying it's right here, this scammer used to sell fried rice here, and now he went to scam the rich people out of their money. Some people even threw trash at my stall and hurled insults. The stock price of the Su Group plummeted even more disastrously, dropping 30% in just a few days, evaporating billions of RMB. Countless shareholders were panic selling their stock, all fearing that the company was about to go under. Those previous suppliers all rushed over to demand their money, blocking the company's entrance, saying your company's reputation is so bad right now. We're afraid it will tarnish our own credibility. We want to terminate our partnership and clear all the old balances. The banks came looking for us too, saying your risk assessment is too high. We need to recall the loans ahead of schedule. Otherwise, we will take legal action against you. The employees in the company were also in a state of panic, with people submitting resignation letters every day, saying the company has already become like this. If we don't leave now, we'll be unemployed. By the time the company can't even pay salaries. Suwon's phone was constantly ringing off the hook, with countless reporters calling her every day to ask about this matter. There were also countless netizens sending private messages to insult her and bash me too. She also received countless calls from business partners, saying they wanted to terminate their cooperation. Every day she had to work until the crack of dawn to handle these matters. In just a few days, she lost several pounds. Her eyes were completely surrounded by dark circles, looking quite pitiful. Right in the middle of this raging storm. Right in the middle of this raging storm. For the first time, I set foot inside the Su Group headquarters. Stepping into Suwon's office, she was sitting behind her desk, her eyes showing sheer exhaustion and filled with bloodshot streaks. These past few days, she had barely slept. Seeing me, she forced a smile onto her face. Don't worry. With me here, this storm is nothing. I can handle it. In my heart, I suddenly felt bad for her. This girl always tries so hard to act tough like this. I nodded, handing a phone over to her and saying, just leak this and it'll be fine. The next day, several audio recordings started leaking online one after another. 2 million RMB a month. You don't need to actually treat me as your sister. Just act in front of outsiders. Here is 30 million RMB, consider it an advance payment for you. In the future, there will be an extra 1 million RMB per month for mental compensation. A country bumpkin goes with trash. A matching lid for a matching pot. A perfect match. Public opinion was once again set ablaze, sparking even more intense controversies. Only this time, public opinion was no longer one-sided in tearing into me and Suwon. Some people continued to bash me as a scammer, saying I scammed an old man's money, but even more people started to flip their stance. Some people said, turns out it was all just a business transaction. In that case, Chen Mo didn't do anything wrong. He takes someone's money to solve their problems. How can you call him an ungrateful bastard? Some people said Su Zhenbang is really too much. His own investment failed, yet he blames others. He squandered all the company's money himself, and then forced Suwon to shell out cash to cover his losses. Others said, turns out Su Zhenbang talked down on him like that before. On what grounds should he help you? Meaning, you're the one eating the Su family's food while breaking their pots. Nghĩa là từ ông ăn cơm nhà họ Tô lại đi đập nồi nhà họ Tô. And now you turn around to curse at others. Public opinion began to fragment. The attitude of the netizens immediately flipped. Those who were bashing me in the comments before all started apologizing now. Turns out it was all just a business transaction. In that case, Chen Mo didn't do anything wrong either. He takes the money to help someone out, playing his role well, so how is he an ungrateful bastard? Su Jinbong is truly disgusting too, embezzling the company's money himself and blaming others when his investment failed. He squandered all the company's money himself and then forced Su Wan to shell out cash to cover his losses. Where is his shame? Turns out Su Zhenbong talked down on Chen Mo like that before. On what grounds should he help you? Meaning you're the one eating the Su family's food while breaking their pots. And you turn around to curse at others. I blamed the wrong person before, my bad brother Chen. I apologize to you, I was totally brainwashed. And after that, many netizens started exposing Su Zhenbong. Someone dug up that he had previously embezzled company funds to speculate on real estate, losing a massive amount of money in his investments, all of which the Su family had to cover for him. This time he lost again and still wanted Su Wan to cover his losses. How utterly ridiculous. Someone also exposed Zhang Hao's business, saying he previously wanted to scam Su Wan out of her money, trying to rely on a political marriage to seize the Su family's assets. And now he even helped Su Zhenbong spread rumors. How truly despicable. After that, the Su family's PR team seized this opportunity and began to go all out releasing all the evidence. Evidence of Su Zhenbong embezzling public funds, evidence of his investment in that scam, and even evidence of Zhang Hao spreading rumors were all leaked. Public opinion completely reversed. Everyone started slamming Su Zhenbong and Zhang Hao and began to sympathize with me and Su Wan. The previous negative search terms were all suppressed, and the new trending topics became Su Zhenbong's embezzlement of public funds, and Zhang Hao sued for defamation. These audio recordings were of course real, all recorded by me personally. Remember, right on the very first day. We met when Su Wan handed me the card. I tapped a few times on my phone. That was exactly when I recorded it. My original purpose for recording was just fearing that the Su family would burn the bridge after crossing it, not keeping their word. I figured having these recordings, at worst, could help me squeeze out some pocket change. Who would have thought that life would take such a turn? And it actually saved my life this time. 3 months later, the public outcry gradually died down. The stock price of the Su Group also quietly bounced back to its original position, even higher than before. As for Su Zhenbong's group, because of embezzling company money, they were thrown into prison by grandfather. Su Mingji went in along with him. Zhang Hao was also sued for spreading rumors and had to pay a hefty amount in compensation. The Zhang family also completely fell out with the Su family over this matter, and their cooperation was terminated. The Zhang family also completely fell out with the Su family over this matter, and their cooperation was terminated too. Grandfather's health kept getting better day by day, even able to walk around on his own. Every day he could go out to the park for a stroll, playing chess with other old men. The doctors said it was all because his mood had improved, which was why his body recovered so quickly. That evening, looking at the lavish dinner on the dining table and a massive birthday cake, my face was full of confusion. Su Wan was wearing a breezy spaghetti strap loungewear dress, gently swirling her wine glass as she looked at me. "Today is your birthday. I didn't throw a big banquet for you. Happy birthday. Let's just have a bite to eat at home." I shrugged, not caring much. It had been so many years since I last celebrated my birthday. My parents passed away early, and being all on my own, I had long forgotten when my birthday even was. I'll just consider this dinner table as an employee benefit. The two of us ate, while chatting about everything that happened over the past few months. Talking about how I used to sell fried rice before. I told her that my parents passed away early, and at 15 years old I went out into the world to hustle on my own. At first I was an apprentice in a restaurant, washing pots and dishes, making only a few hundred RMB a month, which wasn't even enough to cover rent. Sometimes I'd eat just a single steamed bun for the whole day. Later, after saving up a bit of money, I opened a fried rice cart in that slum area. I did that straight for 5 whole years. One time it rained cats and dogs, flooding the slums and flooding my fried rice cart as well. All the ingredients went bad and the cart broke down completely. That month I basically worked for nothing. I sat in the rain and cried for half the day. At that time I thought to myself, when will I finally not have to struggle like this anymore? When will I finally not have to struggle like this anymore? When can I have a house of my own in this city, without having to walk on eggshells around others, without fearing the city inspectors and without fearing the rain? She also told me when my dad passed away I was only 16. At that time, the company was in utter chaos. Those uncles and relatives all wanted to fight for the company's assets, all wanting to kick me out and seize the company for themselves. Some people even wanted to sell me off in a political marriage in exchange for money. Back then, I didn't understand anything, but I couldn't admit defeat. If I admitted defeat, my dad's life's work would go down the drain. So every single day, I had to go to the company alone to battle those corporate foxes, battling those uncles and relatives, stabilizing the company piece by piece, and kicking out everyone who tried to steal the company. Back then, I also cried countless times. Every night when I got home, I would cry all by myself. But during the day, I still had to pretend to be very strong. I couldn't let others see through me, couldn't let others see my weakness. Otherwise, they would walk all over me. The more the two of us talked, the more we vibed, and the more we talked, the closer we felt. Turns out we were both the exact same kind of person, both fighting solo step by step to make it to where we are today. Bottle after bottle of wine went down, and both of us got completely wasted. Our heads were spinning, and then without knowing who made the first move, we locked eyes and embraced. Maybe the alcohol really can boost the excitement. Maybe the alcohol makes people less timid. While we were drinking, the lights suddenly went out, making tonight full of passion. Waking up early the next morning, looking at the glaring red stain on the bedsheet, I was a bit stunned. I lifted my head to look at Suwon, who avoided my gaze, her face still flushing with a lingering blush, a bit shy amid our unspoken understanding. Neither of us said a word. Right at this moment, Grandfather knocked on the door and walked in. I immediately dove under the blanket to hide. Kid, stop pretending. I've known you were a fake for a long time. I froze and instantly bolted upright. Grandfather, you knew all along. You've known for a long time. Grandfather nodded, sitting down beside us, suppressing a smile as he spoke. Of course, my boy. Back then, I only had one daughter. Where on earth would a grandson come from? I just saw that Suwon was under too much pressure, and handling the company all by herself was way too exhausting. I wanted to find someone to stay by her side. It just so happened that you arrived, so I just went with the flow. I see that a kid like you is pretty decent. Down to earth, not fake, and you treat Suwon well too. I can rest easy now. Meaning I put on a whole show for half the day. Yet they already knew all along. Suwon also smiled, leaning against me. That's right. I already told Grandfather a long time ago. Grandfather said he wanted to see how long you could keep acting. I was completely speechless. So you two were playing me? Grandfather laughed out loud. So what if we played you? You've already taken so much money from our family. Can't you at least let us tease you a little bit? I curled my lips. No way teasing me requires adding money soup. Juan rolled her eyes at me and gave me a pinch. You money grubber, you already slept with me and you're still demanding more money. I chuckled. Hey, those are two different things. Sleeping is sleeping, money is money. They're two separate matters. Grandfather looked at us, laughing very happily. I turned my head to look at Suwon and she looked at me too. Both of us smiled. I suddenly felt that actually living like this was pretty good. Before this, I only ever thought about making money, believing that only money could give me peace of mind. But now I've realized that having someone by my side seems to be zero RMB too. For a fried rice vendor who accidentally stumbled into a wealthy family like me, the days of focusing entirely on making money have only just begun. But in the future, it won't just be about making money anymore. There will also be her. The end. But making money is still the top priority. After all, only with money can I give her a better life, right? That's right. We haven't finished talking about adding money yet. Next time I definitely have to calculate carefully with her about the overtime pay from the past few months and the mental compensation fee too. And also some love from you, hehe. In a single afternoon, over a dozen cars completely cleared out. Inside the shop, Jung-kai was pacing frantically like an ant on a hot pan. He rushed out in a fury to confront the two. What the hell are you guys doing in front of my shop? You think I won't call the cops? Wu-Ting's oldest brother sneered. Go ahead and call them. While you're at it reporting to the police, why don't you explain to them how exactly you got a hold of your neighbor's house keys? Jung-kai was left completely speechless. Wu-Ting's second brother delivered another blow. Brother-in-law, oh wait, ex-brother-in-law. Do you even plan on opening this shop of yours tomorrow? Because we'll be right back tomorrow. Jung-kai's face turned completely pale with rage, but he didn't dare raise a hand. In a 2-on-1, he stood absolutely no chance. If he fought back, it would be intentional assault. If he didn't, he could only stand there and watch his customers get turned away one by one. That night he called Wu Ting 17 times. Wu Ting didn't pick up a single one. On the 18th call, Wu Ting finally answered. She said only one thing: "The lawyer will see you tomorrow," then hung up. Meanwhile, things on Liu Ruyan's side were getting even wilder. Her mother had shown up. Not to apologize, but to demand answers. Liu Ruyan's mom, a woman in her 50s with a tight perm, had an incredibly shrill voice. She stood right outside my apartment door. Since I had changed the locks, she couldn't get in. Through the door, she shouted at me. Xiaolin opened the door. "Auntie wants to talk to you." I opened the door to let her in. After entering, she scanned the entire apartment. She had been here plenty of times before. Every single time she'd compliment the interior decor. Today, there were no compliments. She sat down on the sofa acting all high and mighty for a heart-to-heart. Xiaolin Ruyan already told me about this whole situation. It's true that she was in the wrong. A decent start, I suppose. But I knew a massive but was coming right after. But she's still young. Making a little mistake is completely normal. You're a grown man, so you need to be a bit more magnanimous. When it comes to husbands and wives, how can you possibly avoid bumping heads? I just stared at her, saying nothing. Look, you two have been married for over 2 years now. The basic foundation of affection is right there. To demand a divorce over a minor thing like this is really not worth it. A minor thing like this, her daughter, was literally inside my own house, getting into bed with the neighbor, and she calls that a minor thing like this. I still didn't say a word. Seeing that I wasn't responding, she immediately changed her tactics. Xiaolin, I'm telling you the truth. These past few days, Ruyan has cried her eyes out. She also knows she was wrong. Can you please just forgive her this once? Auntie, you want me to forgive her? Yes. I picked up my phone from the coffee table, opened the photo album, and found that specific video. The one of Liu Ruyan and Zheng Kai in my living room. The part where they ate the congee I cooked for my mom. Take a look at this first, Mother Liu. Ruyan's mom took the phone and watched for about 30 seconds. Her expression changed from pleading to embarrassed, and from embarrassed to completely pale. She handed the phone back to me, stayed silent for a very long time, and then said something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. So how are we going to split this house then? I stared at her for 3 seconds, Auntie. When your child was in someone else's bed, why didn't you think to ask this question? Her mouth twitched, but she couldn't utter a single word. She stood up to leave, but when she reached the door, she turned around again. Then can you maybe just give her a little bit less? Her future days won't be easy at all. I slammed the door shut. Everything after that was relatively simple. I found a lawyer. When the evidence was presented, the lawyer flipped through it and said just one thing: this is enough. An absolute guaranteed win. The evidence of marital infidelity was clear as day. Since she was the guilty party, the house was awarded to me by the court. Liu Ruyan was only given a tiny fraction of our joint savings, essentially leaving empty-handed. Throughout the entire process, she didn't argue much. Perhaps she knew she didn't have any cards left to play. On the day of the signing, she wore a black hoodie, with the hood pulled down very low. After signing, she stood up and lingered at the door for a few seconds. I thought she was going to say something. But she didn't say a single word and just walked away. Things on Wu Ting's side were also fully settled. The court granted the divorce, and custody of the kids went to Wu Ting. Zheng Kai had to pay 4,000 RMB a month in child support. After his shop took that massive hit, his customer base dropped by more than half. On top of that, he had to split his assets for the divorce, causing his cash flow to completely dry up. After struggling for less than 2 months, he had to transfer the shop ownership to someone else. I heard the transfer price was nearly 1/3 lower than what he paid when he took over. The interesting part is, I later heard from other neighbors that Liu Ruyan and Zheng Kai actually ended up getting together. They probably figured since both of their reputations were completely ruined anyway, they might as well just huddle together and move in. But these two ended up staying together for less than 3 months before breaking up. And why is that? Because Liu Ruyan found out that Zheng Kai wasn't just messing around with her. Turns out, back when he was running his car detailing shop, there was a female customer in her 30s who drove a premium car. Whenever she was free, she'd drop by his place to get her car washed. They washed and eventually washed their way into a whole different place. Liu Ruyan completely blew her top the moment she saw their chat history. Didn't you say I was the only one? Which of your eyes heard me say that, huh? The two of them fought for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, Liu Ruyan packed up and moved out first. Before leaving, she even shredded Zheng Kai's newly bought jacket. Zheng Kai was so furious that he posted a status on his moments. The biggest regret of my life is getting involved with ungrateful backstabbing trash. The comment section was filled with pure mockery, because absolutely everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. And everyone also knew exactly what he had done. After that, I continued living alone in this 89 square meter apartment. I replaced the sofa with a new one. The old one was thrown out. I couldn't bring myself to sit on it anymore. I changed all the bedding and pillows. I bought new slippers, only keeping 2 pairs that my mother had made herself. The soil in the potted plants on the balcony was completely replaced. When my mom came over to help me clean up, she asked, "How did you end up all by yourself? Did you get a divorce? Why couldn't you guys make it work anymore?" My mom stayed silent for a long time. "She's the one who wronged you." I didn't answer. Mom sighed. "I never found her reliable from the start. But you liked her so much back then, so it wasn't my place to say anything." "It's fine, Mom. It's all in the past. As for the future, we'll see what happens." My mom sighed once again. As I was hanging up the new curtains, right before leaving, she pulled a new potted pothos plant out of her bag. "Put this on the balcony. It's very easy to keep alive. And stop eating out all the time. I stuffed some food inside the fridge for you. Just heat it up before you eat. If anything happens, call your mom, okay?" After she left, I stood out on the balcony for a while, watching the streetlights in the neighborhood turn on one by one. Down below there was someone, walking their dog, and in the distance a child was calling for their mom. It was a very ordinary late afternoon. Very much like that late afternoon when Wu Ting and I were sitting on the bench, but things are different now. The things that were meant to break have already broken. The people who were meant to be cut off have already been cut off. I picked up my phone. Liu Ruyan was still on my block list. I unblocked her account, sent her 2 words, "Serves you right," and then blocked her again. Putting the phone down, I opened the fridge, took out the meal my mom had prepared, and heated it up a bit. Sitting all by myself on the brand new sofa eating my dinner, it felt pretty damn good.